The medical staff aboard the Terran research vessel Hippocrates rushed through the corridors. Dr. Han checked his medical scanner again as he hurried toward the quarantine bay. The reading couldn't be right. It had to be an equipment error. "What's the emergency?" Dr. Han asked as he entered the room. 3 other medical officers stood around a bed where Engineer Park lay. The 62-year-old woman looked pale but calm despite the commotion around her. "We were doing routine health checks for all outpost staff," Dr. Kim explained, handing him the initial scan results. "And we found this." Dr. Han studied the screen and frowned. "Run it again. This can't be accurate." "We've run it 4 times, said Dr. Kim. "Different equipment each time. The result is always the same." Engineer Park looked up at them. "Will someone please tell me what's happening?" Dr. Han took a deep breath. "According to these scans, you're pregnant." The room fell silent. Engineer Park stared at him, then let out a short laugh. "That's impossible. I'm 62 years old. And I've been alone at the outpost for the past 14 months. "We know," Dr. Han said quietly. "That's why we're concerned." Dr. Nam, the genetics specialist, pointed to strange patterns on the display. "There's more. The cellular structure shows non-human markers. Whatever is growing inside you isn't entirely human." Engineer Park's face paled further. "Are you saying I'm carrying some kind of alien parasite?" "Not exactly," Dr. Nam replied. "It appears to be developing like a normal human embryo, but with significant genetic differences. The growth rate is accelerated, too. Based on cell division, this pregnancy began just 9 days ago, but it shows development equivalent to 12 weeks. Engineer Park sat up straighter. 9 days ago was when I first accessed the sealed chamber in the ruins. There was a strange artifact there, a curved metal object about the size of my hand." Dr. Han exchanged glances with his colleagues. "Did anything unusual happen when you found it?" "It reacted to my presence," she said. "When I approached, it started glowing with a soft blue light. When I touched it, I felt a warm sensation travel up my arm. I thought it was just activating, like the other technology we've found." Dr. Kim shook her head. "You should have reported that immediately." "I did report it," Engineer Park replied defensively. "It's all in my daily logs." "There was no pain, no side effects. At least, none that I noticed until now." Dr. Han gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "We need to examine you more thoroughly and quarantine that artifact. Whatever happened between you and that object, it's created something unprecedented." The ship's captain entered the medical bay, his face grave. "The Galactic Council has been notified of our situation. They're sending representatives to observe the development." "That was fast," Dr. Han said suspiciously. "How did they even know?" "The artifact activated a beacon when it completed whatever it did with Engineer Park," the captain explained. "Several older species recognized the signal. They seem very interested in what happens next." "Are they offering help?" Dr. Nam asked. "No," the captain said. "Just observation." And they seemed surprised that the process had progressed this far. One representative mentioned that humans might succeed where others have failed. Engineer Park looked down at her abdomen. "What does that mean for me?" Dr. Han studied the latest scans. The embryo was developing remarkably fast but showed no signs of harming its host. If anything, Park's cellular readings showed improved function across several systems. "We'll monitor you constantly," he assured her. "But something tells me you were chosen for a reason. Your genetic profile must have characteristics that made you compatible with whatever this technology was designed to do." Engineer Park smiled weakly. "Lucky me." A soft chime from the medical scanner drew their attention. The embryo's neural activity had just spiked dramatically. "It's responding to our voices," Dr. Nam said in amazement. "It appears to be listening." Engineer Park placed her hands protectively over her stomach. then it should know that whatever it is, and whatever happens next, it's not alone. Neither of us are. As the medical team prepared for further tests, the lights in the medical bay briefly dimmed, then brightened, as if the ship itself was acknowledging that everything was about to change. The research vessel Hippocrates remained in orbit above the small outpost where Engineer Park had been working alone for over a year. Down on the planet's surface, Dr. Han led a small team back to the ruins where Park had found the strange artifact. They wore protective suits, though sensors showed the atmosphere was safe. "It's in the chamber at the end of this passage," Park explained, walking slowly due to her rapidly advancing pregnancy. Despite being only 2 weeks since discovery, her body showed changes typical of a 5-month pregnancy. The ancient structure was unlike anything the team had seen before. Smooth walls with faint patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. No sharp edges anywhere. The building had stood for at least 10,000 years, yet looked newly made. "The artifact is just ahead," Park said, pointing to a doorway that glowed faintly blue. "It started lighting up like this after I touched it." Dr. Lee, the team's archaeologist, studied the symbols around the doorway. "These markings appear on other ruins we've found across 3 star systems. We thought they were just decorative, but now I wonder if they're instructions." Inside the chamber, the artifact sat on a raised platform. It was shaped like a curved hand, made of a silvery metal that seemed to flow like liquid while remaining solid. The blue glow pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Han scanned it carefully. "The energy signature is unlike anything in our database. It's not radioactive, but it's definitely releasing something." Dr. Lee moved closer, careful not to touch it. "Look at these patterns. They match reproductive symbols we've found on other sites. I think this might be some kind of genetic repository or creation device." Park stayed near the door, one hand on her growing belly. "It chose me." "But why?" Before anyone could answer, their communication devices chimed together. The captain's voice came through clearly. "The Galactic Council representatives have arrived. They're requesting immediate access to the artifact and Engineer Park." Back aboard the Hippocrates, 3 alien representatives waited in the conference room. Their leader, who called himself Representative Yoon, had a tall, thin body with gray skin that seemed almost translucent. His eyes were large and entirely black. "We appreciate your cooperation in this matter," Yoon said, his voice surprisingly melodic. "These artifacts have been of interest to the Council for many centuries." Dr. Han frowned. "You knew about them? Why wasn't this information shared with humans when we joined the galactic community?" Yoon's expression remained neutral. "The artifacts were considered dormant and harmless. Many species have studied them. None have activated them as yours has." "What exactly are they?" the captain asked. "They are reproductive technology created by a species that vanished long ago," Yoon explained. "They appear designed to create hybrid beings, combining genetic material from the creators with compatible species. But genetic incompatibility has always resulted in failure." Dr. Kim leaned forward. "So other species have had women become pregnant from these devices?" "Yes," Yoon confirmed. "But none have progressed beyond early stages. The longest gestation lasted 22 days before natural termination." Park had been silent until now. "And how long has my pregnancy been going?" 16 days, Dr. Han answered. "And progressing far more rapidly than any human pregnancy should." Yoon studied Park with new interest. "May I ask your age, engineer?" "I'm 62, she replied. Yoon exchanged glances with the other representatives. "Fascinating. In most species, reproduction is limited to younger members. Perhaps human biology offers something unique." Later that evening, Dr. Han worked alone in the lab, analyzing Park's genetic profile against known alien species. The computer highlighted something unusual in her telomere structure. "Computer, what am I looking at?" he asked. "Engineer Park's telomeres show unusual preservation for her chronological age," the computer responded. "Her cellular degradation rate is 43% slower than average for humans of similar age." Dr. Han sat back, thinking. She's aging more slowly at the cellular level. He requested more data, and patterns began to emerge. Park's DNA repair mechanisms were exceptionally efficient. Her body adapted to cellular stress better than most humans. And certain receptor configurations in her cells were remarkably similar to patterns found in the artifact. She wasn't randomly chosen, Dr. Han whispered to himself. Her body is uniquely suited for whatever this process is. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. Park stood in the doorway. I heard the baby's heartbeat today, she said quietly. It doesn't sound human. Dr. Han nodded. It's not entirely human. But it's not entirely alien either. It's something new. And that scares the representatives, doesn't it? Park asked. They keep watching me like they're waiting for something to go wrong. They're waiting for you to fail, Dr. Han said. But I don't think you will. Engineer Park's condition worsened rapidly as her pregnancy reached what appeared to be the final stages. In just 23 days, her body had changed to accommodate a pregnancy that would normally take 9 months. The medical team converted a section of the Hippocrates into a specialized care unit where they monitored her around the clock. Her vital signs are unstable again, Dr. Kim reported, adjusting medication levels on the control panel. Heart rate is fluctuating between 40 and 100 beats per minute. Blood pressure drops, then spikes. Dr. Han studied the readings with growing concern. Her body is trying to adapt to changes happening too quickly. The fetus is drawing resources faster than she can replenish them. Park lay on the medical bed, her skin pale and slightly gray. Despite her weakened state, she remained calm. The baby moved differently today, she whispered. Like it's trying to communicate. Representative Yoon and 2 other council members observed from behind a clear barrier. They had been watching for days, taking notes and speaking quietly among themselves in their own language. Dr. Han approached them. She needs help. Do your people have any medical techniques that could stabilize her condition? Yoon tilted his head slightly. We have observed 17 previous cases across 12 different species. None survived to full term. Our data suggests intervention only hastens failure. So you're just going to watch her die? Dr. Han's voice rose in anger. We are here to observe and record, Yoon replied evenly. The artifact selected her. The process follows its own rules, which we have yet to fully understand. Dr. Kim called out urgently from Park's bedside. Her temperature is rising. 39 degrees. 40 degrees. The medical team rushed to apply cooling measures as Park began to shake. The monitors showed her organs struggling to function under the strange demands of her pregnancy. We need to consider terminating the pregnancy, Dr. Kim said quietly to Dr. Han. To save her life. Park, despite her fevered state, heard this. No, she said firmly. It's not trying to hurt me. It's trying to change me. Dr. Han noticed something strange on the monitors. Look at her cellular readings. Her body is actually adapting at the genetic level. I've never seen anything like this. The ship's captain entered the medical bay, his face grave. The council representatives have requested permission to move Engineer Park to their vessel. They claim to have better observation equipment. They want to take her? Dr. Han asked incredulously. In her condition? I believe they expect her to fail, the captain replied. And they want the artifact and the fetus when that happens. That night, Dr. Han reviewed all the data they had collected. Park's fever had finally broken, but she remained weak. The fetus now had a fully developed brain structure unlike anything in their medical database, part human, but with neural connections that resembled the patterns they had observed in the artifact itself. A soft alert from his computer caught his attention. The analysis of Park's latest blood work showed something remarkable. Her blood now contained elements that weren't present before, elements that weren't even in the standard human genome. She isn't just carrying the baby, Dr. Han realized. She's becoming something new along with it. He hurried to her room, where he found Representative Yoon already there, standing over Park while she slept. The alien's long fingers hovered over her swollen abdomen, not quite touching.
"What are you doing?" Dr. Han demanded.
Yoon turned slowly.
"Confirming what we suspected. The process has never advanced this far before. Her compatibility is unprecedented." "You knew this would happen?"
"We hoped," Yoon admitted. "For millennia, our species and others have tried to understand these artifacts. We believe they were left as a gift, a way to evolve beyond our current limitations. But no species has been compatible enough to complete the process."
Park's eyes opened.
"Until now," she whispered.
"Until now," Yoon agreed. "Human DNA appears to possess an adaptability our species lack. Why did you hide this from us?" Dr. Han asked.
"Because," Yoon said, "if humans succeed where we have failed for thousands of years, the balance of power in the Galactic Council will shift. Some members find this concerning." Park suddenly gasped in pain, clutching her stomach.
The monitors showed massive neural activity in both her and the fetus's brain. "What's happening?"
Dr. Han rushed to her side.
"The final stage," Yoon said, stepping back.
"Either she completes the transformation, or like all others before her body will reject the changes."
Park cried out as energy readings spiked throughout the room. Medical equipment sparked and failed.
In the sudden darkness, only Park's abdomen glowed with a soft blue light, the same light as the artifact that had started everything. Alarms blared throughout the medical bay as emergency power systems kicked in. Red emergency lights cast strange shadows across the walls.
Medical staff rushed to Park's room where the monitors had gone dark. "Get the backup systems online,"
Dr. Han shouted, reaching Park's bedside first. The blue glow from her abdomen provided enough light to see her face twisted in pain. "Something's happening," Park gasped.
"It's time." Dr. Kim checked her vital signs manually. Heart rate extremely elevated. Contractions are happening every 30 seconds. This is moving too fast. The ship's systems struggled to restart around them.
Representative Yoon and the other alien observers moved closer, their tall figures looming in the dim light. "You need to step back," Dr. Han told them firmly.
"This is a medical emergency."
"This is a historic moment," Yoon replied, but made no move to interfere.
"The first successful birth from the ancient technology. We must witness it."
Park screamed as another contraction hit her. The blue glow brightened, pulsing in rhythm with her pain. Strange patterns appeared on her skin, the same flowing symbols they had seen in the ruins.
"The baby is coming now," Dr. Kim announced. "Normal delivery procedures won't work here.
Her body is changing to accommodate the birth."
Dr. Han watched in amazement as Park's abdomen shifted. The skin seemed to become temporarily translucent, revealing the child within. It was curled in the traditional fetal position, but its skin glowed with the same blue light. "I've never seen anything like this," Dr. Nam whispered. "The birth canal is reconfiguring itself." Park's eyes suddenly opened wide. They glowed with the same blue light. "I can feel it. I can feel everything. The ship, the stars, all of you. Your thoughts, your fears."
Her voice sounded different, deeper, with a strange echo.
One of the alien observers gasped and stepped back. "She's connecting to the network. It's real." "What network?"
Dr. Han demanded, but no one answered him. Park's body arched as the final stage of labor began. The medical team prepared to receive the baby, though none of them knew exactly what to expect. The room temperature dropped suddenly, and frost formed on the metal surfaces around them.
"Energy is being drawn from the environment," Dr. Nam observed.
"The birth requires more power than her body alone can provide." With one final cry from Park, the child emerged, not the typical way human babies are born, but in a flash of blue light that momentarily blinded everyone in the room. When they could see again, a small figure lay on Park's chest, its skin shifting colors like the surface of a soap bubble. The baby made no sound. Instead, the lights in the room pulsed in rhythm, as if the child was communicating directly with the ship's systems.
"Is it breathing?" Dr. Han asked urgently, moving forward to check. Yes, Dr. Kim confirmed, using a handheld scanner. But not like we do. Its oxygen absorption is happening through the skin as well as lungs. The baby opened its eyes. They were unlike any human eyes, larger, with pupils that shifted shape constantly. When it looked at Park, she smiled with recognition. "Hello," she whispered. "I've been waiting for you." The baby reached up with perfect coordination, touching Park's face with tiny fingers that seemed to shimmer with internal light. Representative Yoon moved closer, breaking his clinical detachment. "Impossible," he whispered. "We've tried this process for thousands of years." The other alien observers crowded forward, their scientific equipment forgotten as they stared at the child with undisguised wonder. "What gender is it?" the captain asked from the doorway, where he had been watching silently. Dr. Kim checked her readings. "Both." "Neither. The reproductive organs are adaptable. I think it can change as needed." The baby turned its head toward the alien observers. Yoon gasped and stepped back. "It recognized me," he said. "It knows who I am." "The child is aware of everything," Park said, her voice still carrying that strange echo. "Past, present. Possibilities. The creators left these gifts across the galaxy, waiting for the right species to find them. To become something new." Dr. Han looked at Park closely. "And you? How do you feel?" "Changed," she said simply. "But still myself. We are connected now, not just the baby and me, but to something larger." "The network Yoon mentioned." The baby made a soft cooing sound, and all the ship's systems suddenly came back online, functioning better than before. On the main screen, strange symbols appeared briefly before transforming into human language. The message was simple: first contact complete. Transformation begun. 6 months passed since the remarkable birth aboard the Hippocrates. The Galactic Council had called an emergency meeting on their central world, a place humans had visited only rarely before. The Grand Chamber was filled with representatives from over 50 species, all gathered to witness something unprecedented. Engineer Park walked confidently into the center of the chamber. Beside her walked a child who appeared physically to be about 10 years old, though barely half a year had passed since its birth. The child had chosen a name, Sunday. Neither male nor female, Sun's appearance shifted subtly depending on who was looking. To humans, Sun appeared mostly human with unusual iridescent skin. To other species, Sun reflected elements of their own kind, creating an instant connection. Dr. Han and the captain followed behind them. They had spent months documenting Sun's remarkable development in Park's ongoing transformation. Both had become something new, not quite human anymore, but not alien either. "The Council recognizes Engineer Park and Son of Earth," announced the Chief Elder, a being so ancient that its species had forgotten their original home world. Representative Yoon stood nearby, his status within the Council greatly elevated since the successful birth. He nodded respectfully to Park and Son. "We have gathered to hear your testimony," the Chief Elder continued, "and to learn what you have discovered about the creators of the artifacts." Park stepped forward. Her appearance had changed subtly. Her once gray hair now shimmered with streaks of blue. Her eyes held a depth that made even the oldest council members uncomfortable. "The artifacts were left by a species that evolved beyond physical form," Park explained. "They seeded the galaxy with these devices, hoping to find species compatible enough to carry their legacy forward. They had no interest in conquest or dominance, only in sharing knowledge and continuing a form of existence." Sun moved to the center of the chamber where a platform rose from the floor. The child placed a hand on it, and immediately the air filled with holographic displays, star maps, DNA structures, mathematical equations of stunning complexity. "For thousands of years, the devices waited," Sun said, speaking for the first time in the council chamber. The voice was melodic and clear, carrying perfectly to every corner. "Many species found them. Some recognized their purpose. None could complete the connection until humans arrived." The Chief Elder leaned forward. "And why humans? What makes them special when so many older, more advanced species failed?" Dr. Han stepped forward with his research results.
Human DNA contains something unique and adaptability that comes from our difficult evolutionary path. Where most species evolve toward stability, humans evolve to change constantly. This flexibility allowed Engineer Park to accept the genetic modifications without rejection. Sun smiled. Humans are young among the stars. They make mistakes. They are imperfect. But they embrace change in ways older species have forgotten. Several council members shifted uncomfortably at this assessment. The chief elder gestured to Park. And what happens now? What do the creators want? They want to share, Park said simply. They left technology throughout the galaxy, not just the reproductive artifacts, but knowledge stored in ways we're only beginning to understand. Sun can access this network. Already we've learned how to improve our energy systems, heal certain diseases, navigate space more efficiently. And in exchange, a suspicious council member called out. They ask only that we continue to explore, to learn, and to share what we discover, Park replied. They believe diversity of thought leads to greater understanding. The council chamber filled with excited conversation. Some members appeared fearful, others fascinated. The balance of power was clearly shifting. Representative Yoon addressed his fellow council members. For too long, we older species have treated humans as newcomers of little consequence. We saw their adaptability as primitive, their cultural shifts as instability. We were wrong. What we considered weakness was their greatest strength. Sun moved to the center of the chamber again and raised both hands. The holographic display changed to show a sequence of new star systems, previously unknown. The creators left outposts here, here, and here, Sun said, highlighting several locations. They contain knowledge specific to challenges facing our galaxy now: climate restoration, resource renewal, dimensional physics. They've waited for species ready to use this knowledge wisely. The council debated for hours while Park, Sun, and the human delegation waited. Finally, the chief elder announced their decision. Humanity will lead a joint expedition to these outposts. All council species are invited to participate, but humans will coordinate our efforts. As they left the chamber, Dr. Han walked beside Park. Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first touched that artifact? Park smiled, watching Sun walk ahead, already deep in conversation with scientists from 3 different worlds. I expected to study ruins, she said. Instead, I became part of building something new. Not a bad change of plans. In orbit above them, ships from a dozen worlds prepared for the first joint expedition. The impossible birth had become the beginning of a new chapter for all spacefaring species. The end.